Hello, and welcome to Strengths Studio, hosted by Salem State Career Services. Created by our team of Gallup-Certified CliftonStrengths coaches, this podcast is your studio, where we help you apply your own unique strengths to succeed as a college student and get career ready. Think of us as your personal trainers, and CliftonStrengths as your path to the finish line that will help you achieve your goals. Thanks for tuning in to Strengths Studio each week and taking a powerful step towards your bright future. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Strengths Studio. My name is Erin Ahart, and I am one of the Gallup-Certified CliftonStrengths coaches here at Salem State University Career Services. First, I want to thank you so much for listening to Strengths Studio, because if you made it this far, this is the last episode in our 4-part introduction to CliftonStrengths. I hope you're getting inspired and learning more about yourself with each episode. If you've enjoyed the podcast, now is a great time to rate it and share it with someone else who you think it could help. Today, we're going to cover one of my favorite topics, which is how to put your strengths into action and invest in them. Up until this point, we've talked about why you should know your Clifton strengths, the difference between talents and strengths, the 4 strengths domains, and how our strengths have both positive and negative aspects to them, called balconies and basements. To introduce today's final introductory topic, I want to revisit one of the most powerful themes of Clifton Strengths, which is that our strengths are so much greater than our weaknesses. You've heard me say before that we want to take what we're naturally good at and spend time practicing at it so we can consistently perform at a high level in those areas. So we really want to spend time working on our strengths, not trying to fix our weaknesses. To demonstrate this, I want you to think about which hand you write with. If you were to write with your non-dominant hand, what would it feel like? Could you write as fast? Would the pen or pencil feel comfortable holding it in your hand? Would your writing look good? The answer is probably not. So why would you try to get better at writing with your non-dominant hand when you could write even better with your good hand? Again, instead of trying to fix our weaknesses, we want to shine at what we are already great at. And I truly believe that everyone listening right now has wonderful talents that the world needs to see. So now, what you've all been waiting for, I'm finally going to tell you how to invest in your natural talents and turn them into strengths. I'm going to make this easy for you because to invest in your strengths, there is a 3-step framework that you can follow again and again called Name It, Claim It, Aim It. And as I explain this framework, follow along on your own and pause this podcast after each step to think about your strengths. You can also listen to this episode all the way through and then re-listen to each step to apply your strengths afterwards. Starting with step 1, name it. This step is all about understanding what your strengths mean. So first, go ahead and find that Clifton Strengths report that you have. Review your top 5 strengths one more time. Then I want you to think back to the past 3 episodes and answer these 2 questions. What does each strength in your top 5 mean? And which domains do your top 5 strengths fall into? Once you've answered those 2 questions, then you can move on to step 2, claim it. This step is all about understanding how your strengths apply to you and really owning them and feeling proud of your strengths. To get in the mindset of claiming your strengths, I want you to answer these 2 questions. What is one example of how each of your top 5 strengths applies to your life? And second, what do you love about each of your top 5 strengths? Once you've answered these 2 questions, you can then move on to step 3, aim it. And this is the step where we take action. So listen carefully. I like to compare step 3, which is all about aiming your strength, to shooting a bow and arrow. The reason why is because taking action helps you direct your strength at the goal you're trying to achieve. So imagine that the action is your bow, which directs your strength, the arrow, at your goal or target. So again, taking action helps you use your strength to get you where you want to go. The first step in Aim It is to ask yourself, what am I aiming for? What goal or target am I trying to hit? So to give you some ideas, this could be a challenge in school, life, or at work that you want to solve. You could be trying to improve in a specific area, for example, getting better grades or securing a leadership role in your student organization. But whatever it is, make sure you pause this podcast and really take the time to think about what it is that you're trying to achieve. Next, I want you to ask yourself, what strength can I use to help me get there? So choose any one of your top 5 strengths that you think will give you the best chance of hitting that target right in the bullseye. And finally, ask yourself, how will I use my strength to achieve my goal? This is the hardest question of all because it requires you to come up with a specific action. But don't worry, we'll talk about how to do that in just a second. Now, I know that this is a lot to take in, so I invited a special guest to help us out. Helaina Polito, the Associate Director of Salem State Career Services and one of our Gallup-Certified CliftonStrengths coaches.
Hi, Erin. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Of course. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm wondering if you could give our listeners an example of how you use Name It, Claim It, Aim It to invest in a strength.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So starting with step 1, Name It, can you share your top 5 strengths with us?
My top 5 strengths are learner, achiever, developer, responsibility, and futuristic.
Great. And what strengths domain does each strength fall into?
My learner and futuristic strengths fall into the strategic thinking domain. Achiever and responsibility are in the executing domain, and my developer strength is in the relationship building domain.
All right. So moving on to step 2, Claim It. I'd love for you to give an example of how just one of your top 5 strengths shows up for you.
Definitely. I can give an example for my futuristic strength.
And how does futuristic show up for you, and what do you love about this strength?
I love how my futuristic strength keeps me motivated and pushes me to learn and grow. I'm always thinking towards and looking forward to the potential that the future holds, both personally and professionally.
I love that. So finally, let's get to step 3, Aim It. What are you aiming for? So in other words, what's one goal that you're trying to achieve right now?
One of my goals at work is to strategize how we can improve or offer new programs and services to support our students, like transforming our pop-up career closet shopping event into a permanent space for students to utilize throughout the year.
And what strength do you think you can use to help you achieve that goal, and why?
I think I can use my futuristic strength to help with the career closet because when innovating and creating new programs, I love to imagine what could be and what could best serve our students.
Awesome. And how will you use that strength to achieve your goal?
Building new programs or starting new initiatives inspires and energizes me. With my futuristic strength, I'm able to visualize the end goal. This helps keep me motivated when working on the small steps needed to make progress towards my long-term goal, like the year-round career closet.
Thank you so much for that example. Now, I know that people listening might have questions about how to actually think of actions they can take to aim their strengths towards a goal. So what do you do to come up with action steps?
Usually, I'll start by making a list. By writing down mini goals and thinking through potential barriers, I'm able to better brainstorm solutions and next steps that are more realistic and manageable. Collaborating with others and tapping into my other executing and relationship building strengths can help me make my future dream a reality. I always remind myself, though, to stop and take a moment to celebrate my accomplishments because with my futuristic strength, I tend to strive to set a new goal as soon as I achieve my current one.
That's really helpful to hear. Do you have any final words of wisdom for our listeners?
My last piece of advice to our listeners would be to find out what tool works best for you when setting and working towards your goals. Whether that's making a list like I do, using a calendar, or talking through your goal with an advisor, friend, or family member, there are so many options. Leverage your many unique strengths to help you make steady progress towards your long-term goal. Lean on and be inspired by others who can help you get there, and don't forget to take a moment to celebrate all that you've accomplished along the way.
Wow, Helaina, that was so insightful. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, I recognize that this Name It, Claim It, Aim It framework has a lot of parts to it. So again, make sure that you replay this portion of the episode if you need to hear the example one more time, or pause in between steps to apply the framework to you and your strengths. But again, to recap step 3, aim it. I always come back to these 3 questions to aim your strength. 1, what am I aiming for? 2, what strength can I use to help me get there? And 3, how will I use my strength to achieve my goal? All right, everyone, I want to give you a round of applause for going through this 4-part introduction to strengths with us. But before I send you on your way, there are a couple of things I want you to remember. From now on, we will be releasing episode series on more specific topics, like how to use your strengths in teams, how to navigate the job and internship search, and how to use your strengths in your personal day-to-day life, and so much more. At any time, you can re-listen to these first 4 episodes to refresh your memory on core CliftonStrengths topics, and this podcast is always here as a resource for you to come back to. But most importantly, I want you to remember to use your strengths because the world needs you, just as you are, for the unique talents that you bring to the table. And like I said, there is a 1 in 33 million odds that someone else has the same top 5 in the same order as you do. So you are so unique and special with something that no one else can offer. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with us. Again, feel free to reach out at strengths@salemstate.edu or follow us on Instagram at SSU Career. My name is Erin. It's been a pleasure to introduce you to Clifton Strengths, and I can't wait to connect with you in future episodes. Have a great day.